When loving them cost you parts of yourself you're still trying to get back. The ache inside you doesn't feel like ordinary heartbreak. It feels like walking through a house where every room still carries the shape of who you used to be. You look around and recognize the shadows, the echoes, the versions of you that once moved freely, softly, without fear. And then you feel the truth settling deep inside your chest. You gave pieces of yourself to someone who never knew how to hold them. So breathe with me now, slowly, gently. Let your inhale soften the places inside you that still feel empty, and let your exhale release the weight of all the ways you betrayed your own needs just to be loved. You didn't lose yourself all at once. You lost yourself in small moments, quiet compromises, swallowed hurt, boundaries you lowered because you hoped it would make them stay, silences you held because speaking your truth felt dangerous. You bent until bending became normal. You shrank until shrinking felt natural. You adapted until the version of you who once felt whole became a distant memory. And now, long after they are gone, you're standing here trying to rebuild a self you barely recognize. Take another breath. The pain you feel isn't only about the relationship ending. It's about realizing how much of your identity got woven into someone who didn't know how to care for it. It's about the exhaustion that comes from trying to reclaim the pieces you abandoned for the sake of peace, for the sake of hope, for the sake of love. You see, loving someone shouldn't require self-erasure. It shouldn't cost your softness, your confidence, your voice, your inner safety. But sometimes love becomes a place where you learn to survive instead of thrive. You stayed because you believed that giving more would fix what was breaking. You stayed because you thought sacrificing your needs meant loyalty. You stayed because your heart attached itself to the potential of who they could become, not the reality of who they were. And now you're left with the aftermath, the emotional debris of a version of yourself that kept disappearing just to keep the connection alive. Breathe again. Feel your chest expand with the truth you've been avoiding. They didn't ask you to give up those parts of yourself, but they didn't protect them either. They didn't care for the pieces you placed in their hands. They didn't notice when your light dimmed. They didn't honor the effort behind your silence. They didn't hold the weight of your vulnerability with tenderness. They loved what was easy to love about you, not the depths you were willing to share. And yet you stayed, believing that love meant endurance, that love meant patience, that love meant emptying yourself to fill the voids they refused to acknowledge. You taught them how to take without teaching them how to give. And now you're here, breathing through the ache of self-recovery, trying to gather the pieces you abandoned along the way. Take another slow breath. Healing isn't just moving on from the relationship. Healing is meeting the parts of yourself you left behind. Healing is remembering the dreams you placed on hold. Healing is relearning how to speak in a voice that hasn't been silenced. Healing is forgiving yourself for thinking that losing yourself was the price of being loved. Healing is realizing the version of you they met wasn't your final form. It was a version shaped by survival, not authenticity. They didn't get the real you. They got the fragmented you. The you who thought that shrinking would bring safety. The you who thought that pleasing would bring closeness. The you who thought that endurance would bring reciprocity. The real you, the one you're trying to return to now, is far deeper, stronger, softer, wiser than they ever saw. They didn't break you. They revealed how much of yourself you were willing to sacrifice. And that revelation is what hurts. Not them, not the goodbye, not the memories. The realization that you abandoned yourself long before they abandoned you. Breathe again. One day you will feel yourself returning, piece by piece, moment by moment, not in a sudden wave of clarity, but in small shifts, the way your body relaxes when you speak your truth, the way your smile reaches your eyes again, the way your heart feels steady instead of anxious, the way your energy stops leaking into people who don't deserve your softness. You are not rebuilding because you are broken. You are rebuilding because you are remembering who you were before you tried to love someone at the expense of yourself. And this time, as those lost parts return to you, you will protect them fiercely. You will choose relationships where your soul does not have to shrink. You will choose love that mirrors your depth instead of draining it. You will choose connections that nurture your being instead of eroding it. You will rise from this not as who you were, but as who you were meant to become all along. When loving them cost you parts of yourself you're still trying to get back, the journey forward is not a clean path. It's a slow re-entry into your own body, a gentle awakening into spaces you abandoned for too long. You begin to notice how your voice trembles when you speak desires you once buried. You notice how your chest tightens when you try to set boundaries. You notice how unfamiliar it feels to choose yourself without guilt, without hesitation, without fear of losing someone who never really chose you. And each of these moments is a reminder of how much of yourself you had given away. So breathe now deeper than before. Inhale the possibility of becoming whole again. Exhale the expectation that healing should be linear. The parts of you that disappeared did not vanish. They went quiet, waiting for the moment you'd finally turn inward and call them back home. You may feel anger rising at times. Anger at them for taking so much. Anger at yourself for giving so much. Anger at the time lost, the energy drained, the dreams postponed. But that anger is simply grief in disguise. Grief for the self you abandoned. Grief for the years you spent dimming your own light just to make someone else comfortable. Grief for the love you continued giving even when it cost your inner peace. Let that anger soften inside you. It is not here to punish you. It is here to guide you back to yourself. Take another breath. The process of reclaiming lost parts is not about forgetting the relationship. It's about understanding the pattern that made you lose yourself in the first place. Somewhere along the line, you learned that love meant sacrifice, that affection must be earned, that your needs were secondary, that losing yourself was the price of keeping someone close. But now, as you rebuild, you are unlearning those beliefs. You are learning that healthy love expands you, not erodes you. You are learning that your needs are not inconveniences. You are learning that your softness deserves protection, not exploitation. And you are learning that love without reciprocity is not love. It's emotional depletion disguised as devotion. This is your return. Your return to the parts of yourself that once carried joy effortlessly. Your return to the parts that once loved without fear. Your return to the dreams that once felt reachable. Your return to the version of you who trusted their own voice. The relationship may be over, but the work of reclaiming yourself is ongoing. And each step forward is a quiet victory. The day will come when you look in the mirror and recognize yourself again. Not the version shaped by their preferences or their limitations, the version shaped by your own truth. The day will come when you feel whole again, not because someone completed you, but because you stopped abandoning yourself to complete others. Take one more breath. You are not searching for the person you were before them. You are becoming someone new. Someone who knows their worth, someone who protects their energy, someone who refuses to shrink for love. The parts of you that feel missing are not lost. They are waiting for you to choose yourself the way you once chose them. And this time you will.